My name is Dr. Kris Sookdeo, and we're here at SVT Medical today with Dr. Sobrian. Doc, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So today we're going to touch on a couple of topics. The first thing we're going to speak a little bit about is stress management. So Doc, if I use the word stress, what would you say stress is loosely?
Loosely, stress, I would say, is anything that makes you feel off of your baseline. Like, if you are relaxed, home on your couch, and you're feeling good.
Right.
If you're feeling like 10 points above that, it's stress.
Right. I agree with you. So stress, loosely put, would be a situation where the amount or the task or the load of work that you have to do exceeds your capabilities. If you exceed that capability, you have all of this stuff to do, all this work to do, especially when there's a time limit on it. You feel stressed, your body releases certain hormones, and you have a stress response. So it begs the question, how do you prevent this stress response from happening? How do you cope with stress, and what are some coping mechanisms? So we're going to touch on that today, and the first thing I want to talk a little bit about is routine. So Doc, what do you think about getting a routine in place? Do you think that's important?
Yep, I think it's very important.
Right.
I think that even as children with routine thrive.
Right.
And adults are just like children.
Right.
So we will thrive with routine.
Yeah. So in terms of rhythms and cycles, the human body functions on something called the circadian rhythm. Doc, you could just tell us a little bit about circadian rhythm?
Okay, well, without getting too scientific,
Right.
there's certain hormones in our body that go up and down at certain times of the day.
Right.
And your circadian rhythm, it's how your hormones go up and down, and they would have that same sort of motion every single day.
Right. So I agree with Doc 100%. So it's associated with light and the pineal gland. So during the daytime there's sunlight and your body senses the sunlight, produces certain hormones. Then during the nighttime it gets darker and you have certain production happening. So if this has been ingrained in us through all of time and it's in our nature, then it is only logical that we continue some sort of cycle with our modern society, culture and work ethics that we have. So first thing is get your wake time involved. So let's talk a little bit about wake time. What do you think we should do to get your wake time set up?
Look, you would have to have proper sleep time.
Right.
I would say, and a morning routine is a good way to get started.
Right.
And you would do most of your work when you have most energy.
Yeah.
That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
Not everybody is a morning person. Some people have more energy during lunchtime,
Right.
and some people are actually night owls.
Yeah.
So people should know themselves, and once their job allows, try to get their most of their work done when they have the most energy, and that in turn will help with stress levels.
Yeah. So number one, set your alarm. Put your wake time. Is it 6 o'clock? Is it 7 o'clock? You decide what time is best for you and follow that routine to the T every single day during the week. Second thing is work time. So what you would want to do is you get to the office at 9 o'clock, 9 to 12, that's 3 hours. That is your work time. Anybody could ask you for anything work-wise, they can bother you, they can ring off your phone once it's work-related. That is your work time, and then following that you have break time. So let's say you have lunch from 12 to 1. This is when you want to turn that phone off, put it in the corner, turn off your laptop, and relax. So you're going to be having lunch. What are some other things you suggest you do during break time, Doc?
I don't really take breaks, if I'm being honest.
I would.
So it's a bit out of my scope. Okay, no, but really, breaks.
Right. Take a nap.
Anything that refuels you, essentially.
Right.
I would say we're moving on to talking a bit about recreation.
Right.
And breaks, I would say, is like a mini recreation time.
Yeah.
So anything that you enjoy doing, if you don't have much time, you can just go in a little corner by yourself, make a little tea, and eat your crackers.
Yeah, whatever your ritual is, have a little snack, a healthy snack. right? So you finish your break time, you're in the afternoon from 1 to, let's say, 4 or 1 to 5, you finish your afternoon work cycle, then you get home, and when you get home, you have recreation. You could tell me a little bit about recreation, Doc. What's your view on that?
Sure. Okay, so recreation, I would say, is anything that refuels you, essentially, and not just in an emotional sense, but physically.
Right.
So exercise, and well, another thing you could do in your break is some light stretches, deep breathing, that sort of thing.
Right.
But back to recreation. Exercise, spending time with family.
Right.
If you like to cook, you could cook healthy food. Anything you enjoy doing, like a hobby.
Absolutely. So after work, some people go to the gym, some people do laps around the savannah, that kind of thing. Some people do simple things, just building Legos, doing little arts and crafts projects as well. So
I like to nap. For my recreation.
Some people play piano.
I love to take naps. It's very fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the last thing is sleep time. Doc, I know this is something that you pay a lot of emphasis.
Man, that's my heart.
Tell me a little bit about your sleep time. What do you suggest we do with this thing called sleep hygiene? People keep telling me about it.
Yes, so sleep I think is sacred. If you really think about it, they recommend 8 hours of sleep, 24 hours in a day. So that's a quarter. It's a quarter, right?
So
it's a third.
One third.
It's a third.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm not a mathematician. So it's a third of a day.
Right.
And if you actually look at how long people's lives are, and you say you live to 90, that means if you really are getting enough sleep, 30 years of your life you're asleep.
Right.
So why not make it worthwhile and quality sleep? That's the other thing. I think that people maybe don't get quality sleep.
Right.
There are many causes of insomnia that could be a talk for another day, but sleep hygiene has to do with how we prepare our body to sleep. If you're lucky, you could just drop asleep anywhere, but not everybody is that lucky.
Right.
So you are supposed to start winding down for sleep a couple hours before sleep. You can dim the lights, turn off the TV, stop listening to the bacchanal on the radio.
Right.
You probably don't talk to, bacchanalists, whoever call you on the phone.
So let's say I want to go to sleep at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
What time you suggest I start doing
Even
this?
from 6.
So by 6 o'clock?
Even 6 p.m. But the recommendation is about 2 hours.
Okay.
But yeah, even from 6, because you don't want to eat too close to bedtime.
Right.
You don't want to eat too far from bedtime because you need some protein in that meal to keep you asleep.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to wake up and have trouble to go back to sleep. And you want to stay away from energy drinks, caffeine, even black tea has a certain content of caffeine. Those are the things that are going to make you have trouble to fall asleep.
Good. So I've warmed down, I'm in my bed, and it's 30 minutes before I go to sleep. What do you suggest I do with things like cell phones, television, lights, sound? Is there anything that you recommend?
Yeah, you shouldn't really be on your phone scrolling through Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is the norm in our youth.
Right.
So that is a no.
So turn off the phone.
Yeah.
Put it
Have
aside.
the phone put away with your alarm for your wake time.
Right.
And probably don't have the TV on. I know a couple of people who sleep with their TV on and they swear that they cannot sleep if the TV is not on.
Right.
I know people have background music and affirmations, whatever, that's fine.
Right.
I think the background music is okay, but anything that's gonna be alerting you to wake up when you're supposed to be sleeping is gonna confuse your brain.
Right. Okay.
I think.
Right. So we turn off the television, we turn off the cell phones, we turn off the lights.
The temperature of the room and the comfort level in your room.
Good, so your body normally decreases in temperature right before you go to bed. There's associated cortisol release and those things. And then you go ahead and have a nice comfortable environment where you fall asleep. Okay, Doc, so people who have irregular work patterns, meaning they don't do the typical 9 to 5, what would you suggest for them?
Okay, so for those people who don't work a regular 9 to 5,
Right.
I would be what's the word? I am somebody who struggles with that myself.
Right.
So to try to give that advice, I don't know, it would be difficult.
Right.
But certain things that I do that I think help me. When I have the time to sleep, I sleep.
Right.
But again, I have no children, and I know a lot of people would have children and you can't do that.
Right.
It's really difficult, but you just have to try to prioritize your sleep.
Right.
Sleep is sacred, I think, and once you prioritize it,
right.
You will find time for it. And I think planning ahead has
Right.
a lot to do with how well your sleep time goes.
Right.
And maybe sometimes you'd have to say no to certain things. Somebody may ask you a favor, you may have to choose whether you have the time to do something else. So I think prioritizing sleep as very important to you will help you get that sleep in if you do not have the regular 9 to 5.
Right. My advice would be if you are working a night shift and then you're home during the day and you have to sleep, put the environment in a situation where it appears to be night, meaning pull out the curtains, turn off the lights, make sure it's very dark, make sure it's very quiet, comfortable, peaceful, and that will assist in that. Okay, so everybody, we're going to speak a little bit about diet and how diet affects you, your body and your stress levels. So in terms of diet, the foods that you eat will impact your stress levels. If you eat foods that are pro-inflammatory, things like sugars, foods that are high in certain types of unhealthy fats, seed oils, highly processed foods, your body is going to go into a pro-inflammatory state. Then when you have all these stresses happening in your day-to-day life, what's going to end up happening is that you're not going to be able to cope. So your coping mechanisms are going to be basically affected in a little way. So Doc, thinking about the inflammatory part of your diet, could you share with me a little bit about the foods that you think is going to cause inflammation versus the foods that are healthy and we should eat?
Sure. Well, I think that a lot of the foods we buy in the grocery that are packaged or have all these ingredients that we're not familiar with, those are the types of foods that may predispose you or put you at risk of increasing inflammation levels in your body. Inflammation is a word that's thrown around all over the place.
Right.
So I don't really want to focus too much on that word. However, I think if you eat natural food, something that's coming from the ground or you know where it came from, I think that's the type of food that would decrease the chance of that sort of inflammatory process in the body, and also help with control of your stress levels.
Right. So I tell my patients, eating healthy is actually very cheap. You don't have to buy all these fancy organic foods. Go in the market, go in Sour Market, Port of Spain Market. There is the farmers market in the Savannah on weekends, in the Blemco Market. You just buy whatever they have there, get the organic food, and you're pretty much covered there. It's not in a pack, it's not preserved, it doesn't come with all the additives. Doc, you could just mention to me, you would have said, listen to your body. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, yeah, people need to listen to their body when it comes to their diet. If you eat something, a certain fast food with lots of fried options, run to the toilet, that's not a good sign. Your body is talking to you. So if you pay attention to the types of foods that you put into your body and how it responds, you may find that the choices the food options that you're choosing aren't the best things for you. So when I say listen to your body, I would say listen to your energy levels, how your sleep is going, your bowel movements, whether you're having diarrhea, that sort of thing. It's not normal. And if you just pay attention to what you're eating, sometimes I even tell patients, keep a food diary. See what it is that's affecting you. People with migraines, if they keep a food diary and they look back, you can actually link the days your headaches were really bad based on what you would have eaten and eliminate it. So you can think back to the days where you were feeling bloated or having a lot of stomach cramps or loose stools, and eliminate those things, eat less of them, and try healthy food. It tastes good, just use a little seasoning.
Right. With what Doc said regarding the diary, some of the foods that you want to look out for will be foods that are in packs, foods that have preservatives in it, so those are your sugar-laden foods. You're going to look at foods with flour is processed, okay? You're going to have to look out for things with seed oil, so this is your sunflower oil, canola oil, all of these oils are indeed processed. The healthier options will be coconut oil and olive oil. And then you also have to think about things like alcohol consumption as well. Alcohol is pro-inflammatory. Think about things like your MSG as well. Read your packages. If there's a word there that you can't understand, or there are more than 6 ingredients in a package, then you need to probably reconsider it or ask your doctor about it. Okay, so we're going to move on a little bit now to low salt diets. Over the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of salt being packed into foods to increase the flavor profile of foods. Alright, and that has led to increased rates of hypertension, things like hardening of the arteries. It's contributed to atherosclerosis and some other chronic diseases. Doc, could you just tell me a little bit about what do you consider a low salt diet? Are there any guidelines that you would follow when it comes to low salt diet?
Sure. So a low salt diet is exactly what it is, low salt. But the most important thing, I think, is to know how your food is being prepared. Right? You can have a healthy ingredients, and then it's cooked in a bunch of butter or oil that is not one of the recommended oils, and lots of salt, and therefore it's kind of negating the process of eating healthy food. So if you are buying food, you should probably try to be aware of how they prepare the food, so that you're not putting yourself at risk of having a high blood pressure if you already do have high blood pressure.
Right.
To prevent getting high blood pressure, well, exercise is one of the things. But eat your veggies, fresh food, and trying to stay away from those packaged foods or drinks with the sodium in it, even alcohol, is something that would put you at risk of high blood pressure.
Yeah. What I would normally tell my patients is that nature already has done the work for you. You really don't have to overthink it too much. Say you're going to cook some curry chicken. After you cook the curry chicken, what do? You sprinkle salt on it for flavor. Curry chicken with salt and without salt tastes completely different. So what you have to do, acclimatize your taste buds. After a while, you're going to be totally comfortable eating food without salt. Eat naturally, so things where there's nothing added to it. And that, following that basic guideline, will be fine. If I ask somebody to eat under 800 milligrams of sodium per day, so it's almost impossible. So asking somebody to go to a strict guideline like that is not really reasonable. So nature's only work for you. Just continue to eat naturally. Right. Let's talk a little bit about prediabetes and screening, Doc. So what is your view on diabetes, prediabetes, and do you think screening is necessary in Trinidad?
Okay, that's a really good question. We have a lot of diabetics in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
And I really feel as though pre-diabetes is underdiagnosed, and also people may not even be aware of pre-diabetes.
Right.
So pre-diabetes is a stage in the disease process where you can reverse some of the, I don't want to say damage, but you can reverse some things and prevent the risk or lower the risk rather, and lengthen the time to developing diabetes. So diabetes is really a familial thing. So if somebody in your family has it, or your parents have it, your risk is higher. So I would suggest that people who have parents with diabetes screen themselves for diabetes at least annually. The recommendation of the American Diabetes Association is
It's about 45,
45.
but in Trinidad, I think you should definitely do it a little bit
Yeah.
sooner, so let's say about 40.
Yeah, I don't say
Especially,
35.
especially if you have a first generation relative with any comorbidities like obesity, increased BMI, those sorts of things, sedentary lifestyle.
So yeah, screening, all screening is you go to the doctor, they check your blood sugar,
Right.
and that is it.
Right.
And they have their ways of knowing what level is acceptable or not, and you just keep a track of it. And pre-diabetes is a certain level which is close to the level in the blood that you would be diagnosed with diabetes, and it is an indicator that you need to change your lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
you need to get that exercise, you need to eat better, make more wise choices.
So in terms of determining your screening, the best option is talk to your physician. The doctor is going to identify your comorbidities, your doctor is going to identify certain criteria, and then they are going to advise you, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z. A common screening technique is doing something called the A1C blood test. The A1C blood test is a simple stick. You get the results within a week, and you look for values over 6.5. The other thing is something called random blood glucose or fasting blood glucose. A fasting blood glucose, you want it to be less than 126 in the morning. Okay, so those are some things that that we look at. Two other things will be urine. So you give your doctor take a urine sample. You screen for things like protein in the urine, and then things like microalbumin, which is another form of protein.
Dehydration, I think, is super overlooked.
Right.
In the healthcare setting. We mostly would recognize dehydration if somebody's come in with confusion or they look dehydrated, but just mild dehydration, I would not, I'm not even afraid to say that I think the average Trinidadian is always mildly dehydrated.
Right, right.
Because I don't think we drink enough water. Some people, try to get that water in, but then others don't. And myself, if I have a little headache or just feeling a little nauseous, for me, if I feel a little nauseous, then I drink some water and I feel better.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying if you're nauseous, that's a cure.
Right.
But you need to learn how your body tells you you need to drink water.
Right. Yeah. So a couple other things will be dry mouth. You're going to have your urination when you look into the bathroom is a very important thing. Doc keeps saying, listen to your body. If your urine is very dark, concentrated, then you're going to have to consider getting more water in. Some other things that are associated with dehydration is dry, cracked lips. You're going to have dry skin. The turgor of your skin is going to be decreased. And then a very, very, very important point, constipation.
Yeah.
If your body doesn't have enough water, you're going to have constipation. What's your recommended intake for water, you would say, for a day for average person?
Well, for men, the recommendation is about 3 liters.
Right.
Women is 2.5 liters.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening to us today. We went through a lot of topics, and we hope that it was an informative segment. If you have any questions, feel free to forward them to Dr. Sobrian and myself. Remember, if you have any medical concerns, the first person you want to go to is your primary physician. Don't hesitate. Make that phone call, book that appointment if you need to, and we'll be happy to answer any other questions that you want to send our way. Thanks so much for coming by, Doc. It was a pleasure having you. Appreciate
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody, bye-bye. Have a good day.